Hey everyone, Murdoch here again with another video for you all. Today I'm going to go over lights, the different types of lights you can use, go over a few examples, and then do some scripting. If you want to just skip ahead to the scripting part, by all means go for it. I won't judge you. But right now I'm just going to go into the scene here and explain a few or all the different light types and how you can use them and set them up, etc. So let's start with the sphere type light. As you can see, I have it in the hierarchy, or the scene explorer. I have it as a child node of the light shape itself. And then, I don't actually need, these don't need to be a child of the wall. But yeah, the light is a child node of the light shape, and that is sitting right inside the shape. So that is a sphere type light. It's just a blank or a default white color. With scale, I can make it brighter or dimmer. Angle, that's not used for a sphere, neither is penumbra. And let's do 0.25 for size, 0.5 for size, 1.0 for size, and you can see how it changes in the map. So that's what size will do, is it changes the actual size of the light node in the map. Reach is how far the light is going to spread to. Leaving it at 0 is automatic. Otherwise, you can put a custom value there in meters. Unshadowed, that is going to be radius in meters. It says it right there. A distance in meters, that is always unshadowed. Useful to avoid shadows from a nearby light fixture and or emissive light surface. So as you can see here, I have the light node directly inside the shape, which means the shape is going to cast shadows immediately outward. So to avoid that, I use an unshadowed setting. And we have our fog settings, fog scale and fog iteration. Fog scale is just how much fog you want or don't want. And then your fog iteration is pretty much the quality of the fog. Making it higher or increasing it will increase the fog quality a little bit. That's very useful for big lights where the fog just doesn't look right. Otherwise, you can just keep it default one. It looks pretty good that way. Sound, we can give our light a sound. So if you have like a buzz sound or some sort of, I don't know, any sound you want to use for lights, you can give it a sound. The light will play that sound when it is on and won't play it when it's off. Glare, this is our light glare. We can give it, oops, meant to be 0.5. And give it a little bit of glare there. And enabled is just default enabled, true or false. And I will show an example after explaining all of these. So I'm just going to go to the next one, and we have a cone light. It is again inside the shape itself. And type cone, this is a red light because it's kind of like a stage light. I've set it up as a stage light. So type cone, scale 5 is a little bit brighter. Our angle is 50. Now if I change the angle on a cone light, the higher the value, the more widespread the light is. The lower the value, the narrower it is. So that is just the angle, and that right now I have a 50-degree spread. That's pretty much what it's doing. And our penumbra, you can mess around with that. It does work for cone lights, but there's not too many use cases for it. Penumbra is a very complex. It's not like a beginner thing to mess with. It looks pretty good just leaving it at 10, so that's what I would recommend. Size, again, that would just change the size of the node. Reach, again, I would explain the rest. The rest from there. Going on over to our next light, we have area lights. Now these are pretty neat. They will project light outward on a surface in one direction, so that it won't actually, kind of like a cone light, but not, it doesn't look like a cone. It just spreads out nice and evenly in one direction. I'll show you what I mean later, but we can change the size of it right here. 0.1 by 0.4 is what it currently is, just to match the little light shape I have there. And I have two of these lights in the same shape because there's two different sides to this street light. And we have capsule light. This is just like a little box light. It emits light in like a little box shape. Right now I just have it matching the shape itself that it is a child of. So just going to drag it out there, and as you can see, I can make it bigger. Now for here it is light radius, or length and radius, sorry. And that's what the capsule light, or that's how the capsule light works. There we go. And there we go. And then I have a little light flicker that I will show you later, and that is just an area light, and I'm controlling that with script. So let's go into the scene and see how all these lights look. So here's our sphere light. And remember, I did give it a glare, so that's why there's little light rays coming out of it like that. The other ones do not have glare. And it is being stopped by the wall, so it's actually not going through it, and I don't have a shadow around it from this shape itself because I gave it an unshadowed setting. And our cone light looks like a nice stage light, projecting like a spotlight in a cone shape. I can actually... Oh, it broke, okay. But if that didn't break and that was just a prop, I could pick that up and move that around. And I'll tell you why that broke, or that turned off that way. And then we have our area lights. As you can see, they're only projecting light downwards, just like the map showed. My capsule light works kind of like a sphere light, but it's like a box instead of a sphere. And my little flickery light, which I will show the script for soon. So if I have... You remember these lights are child nodes of the shape that they're in. That's very important. That lets me control the light and the shape at the same time. So if I were to break the shape, the light turns off. Otherwise, I showed you for this light, so I'm just going to take this light outside of the shape like that. Light's still on, but it stays on even if the shape is broken. It just stays in place and looks really bad. So to stop that, no, there's no scripting involved to make that stop, or to stop it from doing that. You just have to put it in the shape node. And now it will turn off when the shape is broken. It's a nice little thing that devs did built in with the engine. And same here. These are also the child node of the shape. I believe they all are, so destroying any of these shapes will also turn the light off. That's very useful to know. And there we go. Now this one's still being controlled, and I'll show you why. It'll all be explained in the scripting section, which I will get to now. So let's open up our script for the flicker light, and I'll show you what's going on. So we have a flicker delay variable. I'm finding the light, I'm finding the pole, I'm setting a tag to the pole. I have an enabled flag, which is used for manual operation of the light. And then here's my little code to make it flicker. So it is taking, is using a math.random function, taking our negative flicker delay. So whatever our flicker delay is, whatever we set it in the map, it's going to take the negative of that, start there, and then between that and 1, sorry, and it will take that value, rand, and apply it to set shape emissive scale. And our flicker delay starts with negative. And it is the first one, the first parameter, and it's a negative because that will set the light off by default, and then it will only flicker on every little while, depending on our delay here. So going back to the map, my flicker delay is set to 5. If I increased it and set to 20, It doesn't flicker as quickly. If I went and set it to 150, let's say, it flickers even less often because it's going from negative 150 to 1, and anytime it hits 1, it will turn on, and that is doing it every single frame. So the lower the value, go back to 5, the quicker it flickers. The higher the value, the less often it flickers. And if you remember, it didn't turn off when I broke it because it is still being controlled by script. What I can do there is if is shape broken pole equals false. And now that I have added that little bit of code, it won't do anything when the shape is broken. Now there's more things we can do here. For instance, I'm just going to do take away all this. And do set light enabled. Light enabled. So I'm using our enabled flag to directly control the light. And I can control it with, I can change our enabled flag with if get player interact shape is equal to pole, and we press the interact key. Enabled just switches. So with that, anytime I'm near the pole and I press the E key on it, enabled will become not enabled. And if enabled is not enabled will again become not enabled, and 2 negatives equals a positive, which will make it positive. And then it just loops back around. The positive turns into a negative, the negative becomes 2 negatives, which is a positive. The positive will become a negative, vice versa, and so on and so on. So that is our toggle switch. So going back into the map, make sure I did choose our light, set light enabled, light, yes. And it should be off by default. And now I can turn it on or off just by pressing E on it. Now, there's a couple other things I can do. Let's go back to set shape emissive scale. Just a nice simple little way to do this. So now I can control the shape instead of the light, and I'll show you what happens. So we have it if the shape isn't broken again. If our enabled flag is true, it will set the emissive scale of the shape of the pole, not the light this time, of the pole, to 1. Otherwise it'll be 0, and let's go back and see what happens. It still does the exact same thing. And that is because, once again, our light node is a child node of the shape. If I were to take that out like that, our light is on, and I can only control the emissive of the shape. The light stays on regardless in that case. So I'm going to just put that back as a child node. And we have our nice working light again. So that's very important, to keep your light node inside the shape. I will say that again. If you want to control the light properly with the shape, make it a child node of the shape. It's pretty simple. So we can also do, in the script, there's a couple more things. we can do set light intensity. Yeah, let's copy that, paste it. 0.5. So this can control the intensity of the light directly. Actually, you probably won't notice that, will you? Nope. Oh, sorry, I'm controlling the pole. That was my bad. Let's try again. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit too not big enough of a difference. There we go. So now I've set, or changing the light intensity itself. So it's not going on or off, it's just going from kind of dim to very bright. So we have set light intensity that we can play with. And you can animate these values as well with a timer or whatever you want. Math.random, anything like that. You can play around with it, lots of fun. For instance, I'll just do local rand red, green, and blue. Oops. Math.random 0, 1. And now we have our random red, random green, random blue values. Set light color. Choose our light. And this takes 3 parameters because 3 different color values. So rand red, rand green, rand blue. And let's go see what that does. Photosensitivity warning, but we now have a flashy rainbow color effect on our light. What it's doing is it's choosing a value between 0 and 1 for each red, or for each of the colors red, green, and blue. And it is applying those every frame right here. Set light color. So now we've made like a funky, weird disco light. So with that, I don't really want to show you much more. It's going to be a nice little simple light tutorial. Hopefully you got what you needed and you can, work with what I've shown you. Just have fun with it. Lights are one of my favorite things to work with in Teardown, just because of the way you can manipulate them. So many things you can do with them. They're just good fun. Anyway, guys, that's it. Hope you learned a lot, and don't forget to check back for another video at some point. I know it's been a while since I did a tutorial video, but I'll try not to make it too long next time. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.